Alright, hello, citizens of the Nigelverse. It is Nigel here once again, and this is going to be another wrestling review. And actually, it's going to be a little bit different. So, this is the first of something I'm starting a new, not quite series, but a new type of video. This is the first of the reviews here on the channel. Stuff that I reviewed quite a while ago that I feel needs a fresh coat of paint. And I'm going to go back and review them for the sake of the channel. Which I should give you kind of an update on what's going on. For starters, sorry for taking the week off. It was a bit impromptu. I didn't mean to, but I kind of took the week off and we have some unfinished business. Unfortunately, it is now September, which means we have successfully put Green Day to sleep for the month, but also, the one thing I didn't want to happen. I'm behind again when it comes to the invasion. So what we're gonna do this week, we're going to finish that up. So we're gonna do it kind of marathon style. So tomorrow, I am reviewing all four of the events that we still have yet to review. That being No Mercy, Rebellion, Survivor Series, and Vengeance, all in the year 2001. So we've got quite a bit to do, and I apologize in advance to your poor inboxes. But I'm gonna be finishing up that, but because it is September and because my birthday month, we are going to be, and it's actually my birthday today, so I officially have turned a quarter of a century old. But because it is my birthday month, we're gonna bring back the celebration and talk about some stuff kind of near and dear to me, to my childhood, stuff like that, in terms of wrestling matches, one or two movies, video games. So we're going to be doing quite a bit for the month of September. So stay tuned because we've got a lot planned. But it's time to start this review. And technically, hey, when it comes to it, we're taking things back all the way to where it began, at least here on the channel. Well, technically, my first wrestling review was WrestleMania 38, and this was all the way back in 2022. But then my first pay-per-view after that, looking at like older pay-per-views and stuff like that, was No Way Out 2008, an event that seems unassuming and a little not really special on the surface, but it has a lot of sentimental value to me, and I'll get into it in just a moment. But I reviewed it way back when, and I actually was looking at it right before or this video. I decided I would go back and rewatch a little bit of it, and man, it kind of sucked. I did not. This was before I had the best mic and the best camera, so the quality was kind of down. But sometimes you have to see where you were in order to know where you're going, and so I decided that I would start there when it comes to the reviews. Now, in terms of reviews, I'm planning to at least do four before the year is over. I have two planned for this month. Actually, I have the second one planned for next week, or I should say later on this week because Sunday. But I do have one more planned in the next couple days, so stay tuned for that. But as for this review, it's time to once again and revisit No Way Out 2008. And that's the other thing about doing these reviews is that it'll allow me to give some new insight, maybe something I didn't quite address before, something I didn't really know before, or it'll allow me to kind of go back, maybe right some wrongs, and hopefully, polish up the review just a little bit. Now, if you do want to check out the original review, uh, it is on the channel. It's not the best quality. It's kind of hard to hear. Literally, I couldn't hear it on my computer. I had to, and my volume is turned all the way up. It's literally at 100, and I could not hear it. So I had to listen to it on my phone and like put it up to my ear. But But yeah, so definitely glad I'm going back to fix that. But nevertheless, it's time to review No Way Out 2008, or review, I should say, No Way Out 2008. And of course, I did rewatch it. Not just for the sake of the review, but also because, like I said, it holds a lot of sentimental value to me. Yeah, so I guess we'll get into that. But first, it's worth mentioning that, of course, as always, I'm not professional wrestling reviewer or analyst or anything like that. Just a man who enjoys a good time. And you know what? Even several years later, and then even several years again after my initial review, I still have a pretty fun time for the most part watching watching this show and reviewing it, and now reviewing it. It now, like I said, it's kind of unassuming in terms of progression and everything. Not a whole lot happens on the show, and this show I think kind of flies under the radar for a lot of people. But for me, it holds a sentimental place in my heart. Of course, and as always, of course, if you've seen these reviews of mine before, or even with this review, you kind of excuse me, you kind of already have an idea of how this works. But if you haven't, I'm going to be talking about what I liked and disliked about the event. But first, what significance does the show have to me? Why this show in particular? Why not a bigger show like, say, WrestleMania 24 or Royal Rumble 2008 or anything like that? Well, for starters, I've actually reviewed WrestleMania 24 on the channel. I did that for my birthday a couple years ago, so if you haven't already, go check out that review. But also, because as for my ninth birthday, I mistakenly said my eighth, but it was actually my ninth birthday. I received this on DVD as a birthday gift. I actually received two things. The first is Lego Batman for the PS2, which, spoiler alert, that's gonna be one of the video game reviews we look at later on this month. And except it's gonna be for the PC because I have a actually solid PC now. But also, it was this event, and at this time, I was actually between schools. So I went to my elementary school. I went there from actually preschool all the way through third grade. Yeah, that's a weird time. That's a weird grade to leave it off on is third grade. But that's because my school was actually being remodeled. So they were remodeling the school. This was several years ago, and it's actually been remodeled since. And that's actually the same look that it's had since. To my knowledge, I don't think it's had any other remodeling. I pass by it almost every day on my way to and from work, I, so I probably would have noticed by now if it had any other remodeling done to it. But they were remodeling the school, so temporarily they were having all the classes and stuff at a different school. And so my mom was like, no thank you. And she was transferring me to a different school. Actually, what is actually was a charter school. Well, shout out to CSAT and my fellow CSAT alum. But she was in the process of transferring me over to CSAT, which I would actually go from fourth grade all the way through eighth grade. But in the meantime, it was actually a little bit before I started the school year. Now, CSAT, they start in August. Or at least they did at the time. Now they're starting in September. I actually just learned that the other day, which is crazy to me. Think about, like, why the hell did we have to start in August, but now the newer generations get to start in the normal time after the Monday after Labor Day, or I think they started after Labor Day, but nevertheless, so in the meantime, as we were waiting for the info to go through and for me to be actually fully be a part of that school, my sister actually had started going to that same charter school at this time. I think it was a little bit easier for her because she did preschool at the school I was at, but then she did kindergarten at CSAT. So she was already there. And me, I think it was kind of already. I think it was probably a little bit more difficult um, because I had already put in some years at the previous school, so it was a bit trickier. I don't know if that's the reason for sure, but I actually started the school year kind of late. I actually started a couple weeks into September, so I was a little bit late getting there, but not super duper late. Like it wasn't like I was starting in October, November, or December or anything. But but yeah, in the meantime, while that was going on, I stayed home usually, and I watched the absolute crap out of this DVD out of this event out of No Way Out 2008. I used to watch it all the time, pretty much know the event. Kind of like the back of my hand, pretty much. And my sister would sometimes watch it with me as well. Hell, this was back when she was a little bit more into wrestling. She's never really been super big into wrestling. She's kind of woven in and out, but by this time I was deep into my fandom of pro wrestling, and I was still just like a year or so in because I really got into it around 2008. And I had kind of known of it in the time before then, um, but 2008 was when I really started to get into it. But by 2009, I was fully invested. So, yeah, watching an event from the year prior, but that was okay. But yeah, so I watched this event like crazy. I used to watch this event all the time, and it was always pretty fun. Had it on DVD. I think it was probably the only. I think it's the only wrestling event I actually own on DVD. If that makes me a fake fan, I do apologize because I know a lot of people have like full on collections of like home releases of WWE pay per view events, and sadly I did not have that. Just had the one. And but yeah, so I watched it like crazy on repeat. I think I still have my DVD somewhere of No Way Out 2008. I would go look for it, but I am mid recording now, and I actually have to. I'm actually heading out later on. We're gonna celebrate. We're gonna go out for my birthday, so I'm not gonna look for it quite yet. Just now, if I manage to find it. Quickly before I have to head out, I'll like do like a little anecdote, like a little epilogue at the end showing the actual DVD. Yeah, so this event holds a lot of special significance to my heart. Plus, it's 2008, so a lot of stuff at this time is stuff I was watching really at this time, and I was watching excuse me, I was watching stuff in and around this time. Uh, excuse me, I was more of a SmackDown kid growing up, and that's actually a separate video I'm gonna make later on this month. But I would sometimes tune into Raw and even ECW. This was WWE's version of ECW, of course, but I would tune in sometimes, and I remember kind of stuff around this event as well, and then kind of later on to WrestleMania. And to the show's credit, it does kind of bridge the gap between stuff kind of started at the beginning of the year and at Royal Rumble, and then going into WrestleMania 24. This is kind of the stopgap for a lot of stuff, and kind of for the rest of the year when it comes to a lot of these, which is very interesting to see. But now that the backstory is out of the way, and now that I've rambled your ears off, it's time for more rambling. But starting with, or actually, I think quick correction. I just thought of. If I think Lego Batman I got in 2008. I think SpongeBob Atlantis SquarePants is for the PS2 is what I got in 2009 alongside No Way Out 2008. I think that was it. But I think Lego Batman actually got it for Christmas, if I'm not mistaken. But nevertheless, that is besides the point. Getting into the actual show itself, we do have a pre-show match as Kane defeats Shelton Benjamin, so it did not make the actual card. But now getting into the actual card, starting off for the ECW Championship, Chavo Guerrero, who is the ECW champion, defends against Mr. Chick Magnet Charles Montgomery, Chicago made, however you refer to him, CM Punk. And it's crazy that at the time of this recording, AJ Lee has just come back to the WWE and she celebrated with Punk, and then Punk himself had come back to the WWE back in 2023. Now, when I initially did my initial review for No Way Out 2008, at that time, CM Punk had just won the AEW World Championship from Hangman and Page at Double or Nothing. Also in Las Vegas, which is where this event is taking place, of course. Or, AEW had usually hit Double or Nothing in Vegas. This year was the year they didn't. It was actually in, I believe, Arizona this year. But crazy to think that 3 years later, after just some stuff happened. Ironically enough, yeah, Desert Diamond Arena in Arizona is where they were this year. But crazy to think that 3 years later, after some stuff happened, CM Punk is now back in the good graces of the WWE. But at this time, CM Punk was feuding with Chavo Guerrero, and honestly was kind of carrying, if we're being honest, kind of carrying the ECW brand at this time, being one of the things that carried the ECW brand. CM Punk had lost the ECW championship to Chavo Guerrero, and CM Punk had been pretty much tormenting and making Chavo's life a living hell ever since. Including disguising himself as a member of a mariachi band when Chavo Guerrero was having the ECW Championship celebration. Punk attacked Chavo there and nailed him with a guitar, and ripped off his mustache. I don't think I've put on too many fake mustaches, but I imagine it would kind of hurt when you take it off. I'm kind of paranoid about it hurting my face when I take it off, although I imagine that's kind of what the adhesive is for. But B, accidentally ripping off my actual mustache. I am not ready to rock the modern day Kofi Kingston look with no mustache and just the beard. But there was that, and then they had the Gulf of Mexico match, which I actually have reviewed on the channel. If you haven't already, go check out that review, where CM Punk won by throwing Chavo into the drink, aka the Gulf of Mexico. I believe that was on the Go Home ECW, the Go Home episode of ECW, I should say, right before this event. And I'm looking to see February 5th, and this was February 17th. Okay, so it was a couple weeks before, but yeah, so Punk had thrown Chavo into the Gulf of Mexico, and I remember afterwards, Chavo said he got stung by a jellyfish, which also as a kid I was terrified of getting stung by a jellyfish. I don't think it would electrocute you like they did in SpongeBob, but I heard it does really, really hurt. So yeah, no, thank you. But as for this match, not bad. Had a pretty good back and forth. A good way, I think, to wake the crowd up. You see kind of Chavo being very crafty, very sly, which they also put over on commentary. So we have all three commentary teams because we have all three brands, and so the commentary team for this match, of course, is Taz and Joey Styles. Then for Raw, we have Jim Ross, Jerry the King Lawler, of course, and then SmackDown, we have Michael Cole and Jonathan Coachman. But nevertheless, not a bad match, not a bad way, I would say, to kick off the show. Ultimately, Punk losing the match by attempting the Hurricane Rana. Chavo hangs on, then nails the Frog Splash, which I think was really cool, and it really plays into that craftiness of Chavo Guerrero that they were putting over so well on commentary, and the fact that it kind of comes down to a Freudian slip by Punk, I think is very well done. All right, sorry about that quick hit there, but yeah. That craftiness showed off by Chavo in order to pick up the win on Punk, I think was very well done, and yeah, so Chavo hangs on to the ECW championship. Punk would actually challenge again for the title, but would lose, and then Chavo would go on to lose to Kane in about 11 seconds at WrestleMania. EC dub, EC dub, but still pretty solid match. This is the second shortest match of the night at 7 minutes and 6 seconds. A part of me does wish they got a little bit more time to shine, but I think. And also, with what they were able to do, the match didn't feel like it dragged, and it also didn't feel like it flew by too quickly. It was a nice, decent little match, and sometimes that's okay. But next up is the first of two Elimination Chamber matches. excuse me, this one being SmackDown slash ECW because I believe Big Daddy V was part of the ECW brand at this time, but it is mainly being billed as SmackDown. On Undertaker, Batista, Big Daddy V, The Great Khali, MVP, and Finley. Phil D. Now a couple things to mention beforehand. For starters, they play a promo package for the Elimination Chamber, or before this, and I can't believe I didn't notice it until this review. Maybe it's because by this time, I'm in between in between my initial No Way Out 2008 review and then this review here, or I have watched the first Elimination Chamber and the second Elimination Chamber match. They pretty much show clips only from those two chambers, nothing else from the other chambers. Now, I think Chris Benoit is in one of those chambers, so that's probably why. But it is kind of funny that they show the brutality by only showing clips from the first two chambers. They even repeat some clips, such as like Jericho, like bleeding and everything. But yep. Yep, the winner of this chamber will get a World Heavyweight Championship match at WrestleMania 24. And looking at the lineup, Undertaker and Batista are the only two people feasibly winning this match. The other four don't have a prayer. Now the thing about Elimination Chamber and kind of the structure is that's kind of how it's formatted sometimes. Sometimes you have people that you know are probably not going to win, but it helps fill out. Then there's some people that's like a maybe, and then and uh and then you have one or two people that are definitely going to win at this. But in terms of this chamber, or Undertaker and Batista are the only two people pretty much guaranteed to win. It's pretty much going to be one of those two. The other four are pretty much don't have a chance in hell of getting the win. They are also kind of doing two storylines at once with Finley because at this point, this was when Hornswoggle was Vince McMahon's illegitimate son. So, and the next night, Vince was going to beat the crap out of Hornswoggle in the steel cage. So, no pressure, Finley. Hey, so yeah, so the lineup, not great. As for the chamber match, kind of it's kind of a mid chamber match. Not entirely awful, but it felt kind of weak. Like Undertaker and Batista do a lot of the heavy lifting when it comes to this match, both figuratively and literally, because Big Daddy V and the Great Khali, so Batista and Undertaker start off the match. They start off in the ring. Of course, there's four other pods that house the four other superstars. Big Daddy V and Great Khali end up coming in, and but they come in kind of one by one. So Big Daddy V comes in, kind of dominates for a little bit, but then Batista and Undertaker take him out. How Batista nails the spinebuster, Undertaker nails the DDT, and Big Daddy V is out. Right out the bat, kind of non sequitur. Whose idea was it to give Big Daddy V that attire? Now, I don't think I've ever talked about it publicly on the channel. Now, of course, I don't like to speak ill of the dead. Of course, Big Daddy V slash Viscera has now, slash Nelson Frazier, his actual name, has passed away at this point. He passed away in 2014, if I'm not mistaken. But this attire, just having like the pants, the tights, and then just the straps with the melons all the way out, how like not covering anything, and is it certainly was a choice, but nevertheless, so Big Daddy's taken out. Then how and he doesn't even go for a pin, which they do point out in commentary. Jonathan Coachman kind of rips him for not going for a pin, but then Great Khali shows up. He does go for a pin, so he's got that leg up over Big Daddy V. But then he's taken out with the Hell's Gate. This is around when Undertaker debuted that move, so they had to really put that over. He was taking people out with the Hell's Gates, aka the Triangle Choke, and causing people to bleed from the mouth. And Khali was no exception. Eventually, succumbing to it, Undertaker didn't let go for a little bit. Then Finley came in, and Finley comes in and immediately gets taken out by the Undertaker, which was absolutely funny. And then in the end, MVP shows up. He doesn't want to escape at. He doesn't want to leave the pod at first. First, he's holding on to it. Meanwhile, Charles Robinson is like shaking, trying to like pry it open because the Undertaker is stalking him, and eventually, Undertaker goes in the pod, beats down MVP. Also worth mentioning, there's a spot where Undertaker crashes through the door. He's like knocked away by Big Daddy V. So this is earlier in the match, and then he falls right through the door. At first I thought that was like I went almost all my life thinking that might have been some kind of botch. I wasn't sure if it was planned or not. But then when they showed the instant replay, that's when I realized like, okay, that was obviously planned. And it does look kind of scary though. But Finley and MVP, they do kind of their thing, and it is also worth mentioning. Everybody here except for Batista, this is their first chamber match, and I think in a couple of these cases, it's their only chamber match. But yeah, so Batista is the only person who's been in a chamber match before. But everybody else is in for the first time. There's a cool spot where MVP tries to escape the Undertaker, which MVP does have his chain, and he busts open Undertaker. He kind of hits people with his chain. He kind of wraps around his fist. It's kind of like brass knuckles, but then he climbs up to the top of the pod. Undertaker chokes him, launches him off off the top of the pod. It was such a big yeet, it would make Jey Uso blush. But Undertaker launches MVP off the pod, and then Finley covers him right after. Then Hornswoggle shows up, hands Finley shillelagh. He hits Batista and Undertaker with it. Now Batista's busted open, but Finley is eventually chokeslammed. Excuse me, and pinned by the Undertaker on the outside. So Finley's gone. Then it's down to Batista and Undertaker. Undertaker gets the win after after her after her this spot where Batista's throwing Undertaker into the cage. He does it the first time and throws him in like the side wall of the chamber. Then the second time, Undertaker reverses it into a tombstone and pins to pick up the win. And pretty cool spot, and the crowd absolutely loses it when Undertaker does that. And admittedly, it was a really cool spot. But yeah, so Undertaker is going on to face Edge at WrestleMania, and you see Edge like looking afterwards, looking at the match, but Edge and for his match later on tonight with Rey Mysterio. Kurt Hawkins and Zack Ryder are both banned from ringside per Teddy Long because he's filling in for Vicky Guerrero, who was taken out accidentally by Rey Mysterio. We'll get to that. Yeah, not a bad chamber, just kind of feels kind of lifeless. Undertaker and Batista carried. Finley and MVP kind of did their thing. Big Daddy V and Great Khali, he, uh, he maybe because they weren't always the most mobile. I think it was probably a good idea to keep their involvement to a minimum, but yeah, it just felt kind of flat, unfortunately. But next up, in a career-threatening match, at Mr. Kennedy seeks to make Ric Flair retire. So, Ric Flair has the mandate by Mr. McMahon. The next match he loses, he will retire. And eventually they kind of, not really backtrack, but kind of explain that it's the next singles match that he loses. Ric Flair retires. So each, so just about every match, every singles match that is, could be his last. Mr. Kennedy shows up. Excuse me, Mr. Kennedy is here to see if he can do the job, and put away Ric Flair. This match, not bad. It's kind of okay. Kennedy got his stuff in, but you also got to feel bad for Mr. Kennedy. At this point, Kennedy has lost his push. He's no longer Mr. Money in the Bank and no longer the main eventer that they kind of thought and hoped and pushed him to be. So he has to kind of have this consolation prize going against Ric Flair, but Flair still does his thing for the most part. Kennedy does a lot of the legwork when it comes to this, even and tries to make Ric Flair submit with his own figure four, or or which Flair does have the injured leg. He has the leg taped up. But lo and behold, Ric Flair does lock in the figure four, and Mr. Kennedy is forced to tap out. So Ric Flair gets to keep his career, and Ric Flair says something very prophetic. He says he's never retiring, and man, he was not kidding. Even when he loses the retirement match. Against Shawn Michaels at WrestleMania 24, Ric Flair still has not retired. Now, he hasn't wrestled since his quote unquote official last match against Andrade. A maybe Ric Flair should have stayed retired at WrestleMania 24. People have been saying that for years, yeah, this match not bad. But next up for the World Heavyweight Championship, and kind of a rematch from the Royal Rumble, Edge defends the World Heavyweight Championship against Rey Mysterio. Now, a couple things going into this match. For starters, at this point, Edge has proposed to Vicky. So they are engaged to be married. And they had kind of a romance going, including when Vicky took the bullet for her lover Edge at the Royal Rumble, got out of her wheelchair, and absorbed the 619 from Rey, allowing Edge to counter and pick up the win. At this point, Edge has proposed. Rey he showed up and kind of berated Vicky for her giving up the Guerrero name, as he put it. And Rey goes to springboard, or this was on SmackDown. Rey goes to springboard or onto Edge, but Edge moves out of the way, and he nails Vicky in the wheelchair. So Vicky is taken out for the time being. And I actually watched that SmackDown live, man. It was kind of nuts, although admittedly, 8-year-old me, he kind of enjoyed it a little bit. I feel bad for saying that? Yeah, but I did kind of enjoy it. As for this match, like I said, kind of a rematch from the Royal Rumble. Also, not a lot of meat on the bones when it comes to this match. In fact, this is the shortest match of the night, but I think they did relatively well. The other thing is Rey has a torn bicep in this match. He actually did a kind of interview with Mike Adamle earlier in the night, and then he kind of chatted with Floyd Mayweather. Rey did, that is, but he talked about the torn bicep, and if it'll hamper him in this match. Rey's gonna try to push through though. But sure enough, Rey nails the 619, can't capitalize because the bicep hurts too much. So eventually Rey, it goes for a springboard, and then Edge nails the spear. Pretty much what he did at the Rumble, and picks up the win. So Edge is still World Heavyweight Champion, and unfortunately comes down to Rey not being able to capitalize because of the bicep injury. But sure enough, afterwards, the Big Show shows up. First time we had seen him since 2007. Big Show shows up. He's lost a lot of weight. He shows off in the jacket and everything, pretty much saying he's going to be back. He's going to be a champion, which he would wind up doing. It would take him a couple years, but he did. But then Big Show, after cutting that fiery face promo, immediately turns heel by attacking Rey Mysterio. Floyd Mayweather jumps the barricade, gets in the ring. Big Show goads Floyd into punching him and Big Show essentially Big Show, I should say, goes Floyd and punching him. Floyd punches Big Show, breaks his nose, so he's covered in blood. So there's your WrestleMania feud between Floyd and Big Show. And the other thing that really made me laugh, and I actually didn't notice it until this show. Is when Big Show is walking to the back from the crowd. Shane's kind of with him. He's kind of walking him to the back. Someone in the crowd chants, "Which way did he go?" So nice Backlash 2001 reference. I'm surprised I never noticed that before. Maybe it's because now I have extra context now that I've reviewed Backlash 2001. Go check out that review. But it was pretty funny. It made me laugh. But sure enough, next up for the WWE Championship, if John Cena seeks to take the WWE Championship from Randy Orton. Now, John Cena lost the WWE Championship to Randy Orton. He was forced to vacate it due to his torn pectoral muscle. He tore it in October and was backed by the Royal Rumble in January. Even injuries weren't safe from Super Cena at this time. And of course, crazy to think that now in 2025, John Cena and Randy Orton have officially had their last match against each other. But John Cena had a guaranteed shot at WrestleMania, but Randy, John decided he would invoke the match early and face Randy here at No Way Out for the championship. This match, now, John Cena and Randy Orton have had a lot of battles. If you've seen one, you kind of seen most, if not all of them. This one, in the grand comparisons of their other battles, this one pretty decent, I would say. Which John in the weeks leading up has shown he is on 100%, even hitting was the attitude adjustment back then. It was known as the FU onto Mark Henry. This was back when John Cena was still using the naughties, but Cena showed that he was able to go, and he, for the most part, was able to go in this match. And the story throughout is Randy keeps trying to find ways to kind of escape with the win and with the championship, including hurting his knee after he misses kind of the knee drop and telling the ref to count him out. And John and Randy keep going after each other. Eventually, Randy slaps the referee in the face, which causes the DQ. So John essentially wastes his championship match here at No Way Out. But John Cena does lock in the STFU and on Randy. He first nails the FU and then locks in the STFU on Randy Orton in order to force him to tap out. Obviously, it doesn't matter because the match is over. But don't worry, John Cena will get his championship match again at WrestleMania. But nevertheless, it's time for the main event. Who will be now one of the people facing Randy at WrestleMania? As in the Raw Elimination Chamber, Triple H, Jeff Hardy, Shawn Michaels, Chris Jericho, Umaga, and JBL all compete for that spot. We see them throughout the night kind of getting ready for the match. Triple H and Shawn Michaels saying it's pretty much every man for himself, of course, because at this point DX was kind of it was reformed, but it was also on hiatus at this time. But yeah, every man for himself, no friends, and in this match. And this match definitely cleared the SmackDown match. This match was actually pretty fun, and a lot of great spots by the others involved. JBL, the first to go, and he takes it well by nailing everybody with a steel chair. Everybody except Triple H because he was already down. Excuse me. So JBL is gone. Jeff Hardy is actually the last to leave his pod, and they did have a fan voting, which sadly I didn't have a phone at the time, so I couldn't participate in the fan voting. Let me know in the comments if that was legit. I'm not entirely sure, or I'm sure it probably was, but as a lot of people in the know say it was, Jeff Hardy got the overwhelming vote to pick up the win and go on to face the WWE champion at WrestleMania. Meanwhile, Triple H got second place and ended up actually winning the match. So, well, so there was that. Sure enough, Triple H does eliminate Shawn Michaels. Everybody nails their finishers on Umaga. This is at the point when Jericho did have the code breaker, so kind of had an impact finisher in terms of that. So Umaga's gone. Then Jericho nailed the Sweet Chin Music and Jeff Hardy pins him right after. So Jericho's gone. After Jeff Hardy comes in and the rest of the match kind of speeds by. So Umaga, Jericho's gone. Triple H nails the pedigree on Shawn in order to eliminate him. So it's down to Triple H and Jeff Hardy, which Jeff Hardy, honestly, 2008 was kind of his year. Like, that was the year he fought, it was a year-long quest, which kind of started, if anything, back at Armageddon last year when he fought Triple H, but kind of a year-long quest to become WWE champion. We see Jeff Hardy go through that all year. He faced Randy at Royal Rumble, and now he's in this match and is down to the final two. Also, before I forget, had kind of I think I forgot to mention it, Ray would end up missing WrestleMania because of his torn bicep. But back to this match. So Jeff Hardy was gunning for the WWE Championship. He was supposed to be in the match at Survivor Series, but he was taken out. Jeff Hardy would eventually culminate it by winning the WWE Championship at Armageddon, which is Armageddon that year, which is something I also reviewed. So if you haven't already, go check out that review. But it was down Triple H and Jeff Hardy. Really good back and forth. Jeff Hardy managed to kick out one pedigree, but after being thrown off after attempting to twist his fate on Triple H, into the chair. Triple H then nails the pedigree on Jeff Hardy. Jeff Hardy's down for the count. And Triple H wins and is going on to WrestleMania. And of course, as I mentioned, John Cena would get his championship match back after defeating Randy Orton the next night on Raw with Triple H as special guest referee. So it ended up being a triple threat between Cena, Triple H, and Randy Orton. But yeah, so that is the show. In turn, and I'm glad I definitely got to rewatch it for the purpose of this review. And I'm glad I got to see it and kind of give a fresh coat of paint to my review of it. In terms of the strongest and weakest match of the night, the strongest probably the Raw Chamber. Or like the Raw Chamber was really good, but which is funny because it's shorter than the SmackDown Chamber. But I guess shorter is better in this case. But the Raw Chamber was really good. There's not really an abysmal match, just as stuff that was kind of okay. In terms of the weakest match, probably Ric Flair versus Mr. Kennedy. Because kind of compared to everything else, it kind of lacked that kind of heat or that kind of substance to it. But yeah, glad I got to review it, and here's to many more review. Like I said, I got a bunch more coming, and I'm not gonna do them like back to back to back to back to back. I'll kind of space them out every now and then, but with the exception of the one I'm doing this upcoming week. But in the meantime, that's going to do it for this review. Thank you all so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed. If you did, please do me a favor: like, comment, subscribe, share with your friends, turn on those post notifications so you know every time I upload a video, so you never miss an upload. And let me know in the comments section below your thoughts on No Way Out 2008 and my review of it. Did you like the event? Did you like my review of it? And everybody wish me a happy birthday. Now, that's in order. No, I'm just kidding. But anyway, thank you all so much for watching. I will see you guys later. Peace. Oh, real quick before I go, because I actually have to head out, that's why I got changed and everything. Quick little anecdote. Wasn't able to find the DVD in time, but I did want to mention I actually had the WWE magazine version of this event. So it was the shoot where Jeff Hardy, and sorry if I'm super bright, I just turned on my light really quick. It's the version, I actually turn it down. So it's the one where they show the photo shoot of Jeff Hardy in like the chamber with the chains around him, like in the water. Or it was pretty cool. I remember that. And also bring back WWE magazine. All right, that's it. Thanks for watching. See you guys later. Peace.